So, good morning. Um, for those of you on Facebook and YouTube, let me briefly repeat for those that just joined on Instagram. There are some things I want to talk about that I'm going to go into detail about on my podcast, which dropped this morning. Uh, and what I'm talking about is I don't know how aware you are of it. I have just become more and more aware of it, but we're really getting victimized by some censorship right now. And you may have read a little bit about this. I've been digging into it quite a bit, but there are things being taken down from a lot of the social media platforms that we tend to go to looking for information on this pandemic that are being taken down for, I mean, they're not obscene, they're not inciting people to violence, they're just questioning what the uh, general knowledge is, or the general belief system, or the general consensus is. And I think that's just crazy. I don't get it. I mean, I really don't get what in the world is going on. So I'm hoping that you guys will start making your voices heard about this a bit, because I am very concerned that this is being taken down. Um, and it doesn't matter what you believe, whether you believe what's up or you believe what's down, you should be very concerned about the fact that information is being taken down. And a lot of what's being taken down is questioning some of the science that is being put out there. There's some new science that's being generated. I'm not even going to go into what it is, because I'm not advocating for one thing or another. I'm just telling you that there are some things that are being generated right now that are being taken down. So you should be concerned about that, I would think. Um, so look into that and see what's going on. One of the biggest things I'm concerned about is, we have a pandemic concerning this virus, but we also have an epidemic of despair, epidemic of despair deaths, epidemic of despair with regard to health and well-being. Because as we open the economy back up, I'm getting more and more information and messages from people that are saying, hey, I got nothing to go back to. My business I had is out of business. The job I had is gone. There's just nothing there. So I'm not at all comfortable going back out. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. I don't know how I'm going to feed my family. And so I feel this sense of despair. So I hope you'll take a look into that and see what's being taken down, why it's being taken down, and then register your voice, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You need to be concerned that somebody is feeding you one side of a dialogue and not both sides of the dialogue, and letting you make up your own mind. If that's not offensive to your sensibilities, then I don't know what will be. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention and hope that everybody will make some noise about that. I've got some questions that I want to answer today, so I'll get off of that soapbox and get on to the questions that have come in. The first one, Sharon Savitsky. Dr. Phil, should I get tested to see if I'm carrying the virus? Also, should I get an antibody test? I'm trying not to go get tested so I can save them for other people that need it. Listen, if you have any concerns at all, you absolutely should get tested. No doubt about it, you should get tested. Don't let anybody tell you that you're taking up resources to go get tested. There are enough tests out there. When you go to the testing lines in most places, there aren't enough people taking the test as there are tests. So there might be a line, but when the day's over, they've got 10,000 tests left over. So you have the right to be tested. If you're concerned, go be tested. And that gives valuable information to those that are trying to figure out how widespread this is. What we're learning is that this is a lot more widespread than we thought it was. A lot more people have had this than we knew, which means the death rate is a lower percentage than what uh, has been believed before, according to all of the scientists, all of the infectious disease experts, all of the epidemiologists. So yeah, for absolute sure, you should get tested. Don't be concerned about that. You have a right to be tested like anybody else. Kylena Clevenger says, is there really a point to wearing a mask? Absolutely, there's a point to wearing a mask. If you turn the corner and somebody sneezes in your face, you're going to be really glad you had something on your face so you don't inhale the droplets and get sick. Of course, you need to wear a mask. There is a point to wearing it. Serbii says, what should we do when we have no motivation to do anything like schoolwork? Well, um, you know, that's just point of maturing, I guess. We learn that we don't just get to do the things we want to do, we do the things we need to do. So hopefully you'll recognize that I don't want to do this, but I need to do it. You know, there comes a point in everybody's life when you realize I'm not going to school for other people, I'm going to school for me, because fairly soon you're going to be selling the knowledge you're getting now. You're going to be in a competitive market and somebody's going to say, hey, how much do you know? How good are you at math or science, or how well do you write? How good are your skills in the job that we need to hire somebody for? And those people that worked hard to learn how to do the things that needed to be known in order to do that job are going to get hired, and the ones that didn't aren't. So you're not going to school for your parents. You're not going to school for your teachers. You're going to school for you. If you want the money to do the things you want to do, then you're going to need to have the skills that the world's willing to pay you for. So uh, that happened to me. It didn't happen to me till I was in college, because I didn't give much of a damn about school for a long, long time. And then I realized, hey, I'm not doing this for them. It's not going to change my parents' life whether I pay attention or not, or my professors. I mean, they have a whole new set of kids in 3 weeks anyway. They don't care. Maybe they care, but it's not going to change their life. I decided I'm doing this for me, so I started paying attention to that. Any tips on how to keep a relationship healthy during lockdown with 4 kids? There's not enough time to talk about that, but look, um, when you get frustrated, just remember you're just as frustrating as the person that's frustrating you. If you think they're driving you crazy, trust me, you're driving them crazy too. So lighten up. Don't be judgmental. Give each other space mentally, emotionally, physically, and get those kids pulling their own weight. They shouldn't be so spoiled. Um, Okay, Tamara Toda says, Dr. Phil, how do I deal with my fear to go out because of the virus? You're not helpless. Do everything that you can do to protect yourself. No doubt about it. You need to go out and do the things that you want to do, the things that you need to do, but recognize you do have the ability to impact the outcome of your journey. Uh, if you need to wear gloves, wear gloves. Wash your hands on a regular basis. Do wear a mask. Maintain social distancing. Be cognizant of staying out of a crowd right now. Do the things you need to do to keep yourself away from what it takes to get infected here. And what it takes to get infected is droplets from somebody's respiratory system getting into your respiratory system or your mucous membranes of your eyes, your nose, or your mouth, or you touching it and putting in your eyes, nose, or your mouth. So just be smart. Think about it before you go out. Don't just go stumbling in somewhere and find yourself in the middle of 150 people in a space made for 50, and everybody's breathing the same air and coughing and wheezing, and you're inhaling it. Just don't get in that situation. Stay out of there. If you see that, turn around and walk away. Wait till it clears, go back in. Be smart. Use your head about this. We are not helpless. We can affect this ourselves. Um, I wanted to talk about today's show because, as I told you and have made good on my promise, and boy, have you guys responded, I said I was going to do a bunch of shows during the month of May that we shot before we went on break. And these are shows that have full audiences in there. They're not COVID-19 shows. Pandemic wasn't even in our vocabulary when we shot these shows. They were shows that were extra special leading up to the month of May, where we run a lot of our very best shows at request of our advertisers. And so these are interesting shows. They're compelling shows. They're educational shows. They're entertaining shows. And people have really responded. I've gotten so many messages. Thank you, Dr. Phil. We needed a breath of fresh air. We needed some non-COVID-19, some non-coronavirus noise. We wanted something about the typical things that we watch on Dr. Phil. And this is the second part of a two-part. If you missed yesterday, we will catch you up fully at the beginning of the episode. But this is one of the most interesting catfish shows that I can remember doing. Now, by catfish, we're talking about these people that get scammed, love scammed on the internet. Somebody steals an identity, pretends to be this very attractive person that's falling in love with someone, and starts getting money from them. That's what we mean by catfish, if you don't know. And this is a two-parter, and what worried me about this is Lois is the one that's getting scammed here, and she puts herself in real danger. She's got somebody that has convinced her that they are sending her a suitcase full of diamonds and cash. And she meets someone called the General and meets this person alone in a hotel room, no safety, no security, nobody around, meets him in a hotel room. And they don't open the suitcase. He says, here's what's in here. And he gives her 3 bills that are completely white. These bills are completely white. They're the same shape as a bill, but they're white. And he says there is a special solution that you can dip these in. It's called white money, and it washes the white off, and underneath are $100 bills. They've just been disguised to get through customs or something, is his point. And he has 3 examples, and he mixes up this solution, douses, the white comes off, and there are 3 crisp $100 bills. He gives her this locked suitcase. We unlock that suitcase on the stage to see what's in there. Are there diamonds? Are there cash? Is there more of this white money? And is the white money real? She kept the white money Jeffrey Daniels gave her in a home safe under lock and key and mailed it to me so I could examine all of the evidence associated with this online fiance. And so we do that. So I open Lois's home safe and examine her white money on the set so we can see what's there. And I also locate her former fiance, Fred Adler, who Lois claims is stuck in Africa. The man behind the photos of Fred is actually a gentleman named Mark. He lives in North Carolina. He's the victim. He's had his identity stolen. So we actually find the people, and we open that safe, and we find out what's in there and what's going on with this, well, shall we say, we'll call it white money. That's what they call it, is white money. So that's on today's show, and we've got some great shows lined up for the week. I want you to really stay tuned in. We're doing some really interesting things. And with regard to what I started talking about early on, pay attention to what people are taking down and not letting you see and not letting you hear. I'm not even saying what it is. I'm just telling you there is science that's questioning some of what we're being told, and those that are being taken down are doctors. from very reputable universities and hospitals that are saying there's some stuff here everybody needs to know. Check in. So, Robin and I are doing well. Over the weekend, I made my first outing. I had to go to Dallas, Texas, and it was interesting. When I got to Dallas, I was met by law enforcement and had to sign some papers about, because I was from California, I guess, coming into Texas. Why are you here? Where are you going? You have to agree you'll go straight there, do what you have to do, and come back here and leave. Otherwise, you have to quarantine. And sadly, I was going in because my nephew, Scott Madsen Jr., 50 years old, passed away at ICU last week. And it was not COVID related. He had had a struggle with a number of issues. And sadly, we lost him just a few days ago, and the funeral was in Dallas. And so I went in for the funeral to be there for him and for the family. He's worked at Dr. Phil for the last 10 years. He was a young psychologist, very, very nice young man. Young man, he's 50, but I mean, very, very nice guy, very smart, will be greatly missed by everyone at Dr. Phil. I know a lot of you heard about this. I appreciate all of your thoughts and sentiments. It is a tough time for our family to lose someone like that, but we trust that he's gone to a better place. But it was interesting to go to another city for the first time in months and see how they're doing things and how restrictive things are in a place that supposedly is opening up. Different world out there. I'll be talking to you guys throughout the week. So long.